Xander Road Gaming here. Got another video for you. This is a video from our finals at our JJK rare battle we had this weekend at Omni Cards Collectibles and Gaming. We got a Mahito on the right and blue Sukuna on the left. This event was really cool to see so many different decks. I think we had 22 players at this event. So it just shows the hype that people have for JJK. And not everyone only brought blue Sukuna. There was, I think, every deck, every mainstay deck, I guess you could say, from the set played. A lot of people know what the Sukuna deck does, maybe not so much the Mahito Ghetto deck. But let's see what he has here to start off. He found a 0-drop, which is awesome. This Dobaro helps you draw a card and then place one to your sideline. Great card to see at the beginning of the game. The Ghetto player dropping Mahito and Dagon. Both players seeing early. The Sukuna player having to draw a card here. And being able to see that 0-drop from it probably. So worth the draw for sure. Missing out on any plays, any turn, never feels good in this game. And wow, okay, he's moving up early. This deck doesn't take a lot of energy for these first characters, so he's going to be able to get a lot of damage in. 0 and a 1-drop. He's swinging with the Mahito, hits a Nobaro for a draw trigger. Swinging with the fish guy. Man, this Nobara has no trigger, the double energy generator, so good early pressure from the Mahito player for sure. A lot of the characters not requiring a lot of energy. Let's see what the Sukuna is able to do, playing a 0-drop Yuji. I think he's sitting at 3 energy at the moment, so not a lot of plays he can play, and there he goes. Now he drops the 2 energy generator. Yuji, his plays are open now. We can see his hand a little bit, kind of, but I think he does have a raid target, and that would be the play you would think he'd go for, and he does. Nice. The Sukuna, really strong card for the deck, lets you draw 2, place 1 from your hand to the sideline. This deck is just very, very consistent at what it does for sure. Not able to get another finger, but that's fine. He's dropped the 5-drop out, swings into life, hits the Mahito, trigger add to hand. So decent start for both players here. He's dropping the Hanami, double energy, so his energy set. He's playing the Jogo to reduce the DP by 1,000, and yeah, perfect play there, going into the Raid Jogo, letting him clear off that Sukuna, and getting a swing here, and it's just a Maki, nothing in life, another Nobaro for a draw trigger, and another Sukuna, get it to hand. A lot of pressure coming in on the side of the Mahito player. Even not seeing a ton of crazy cards on turn 3, really just playing these small bodies, got the 2 hits in early, and now it put on a lot of pressure. The Sukuna player, Eddie here, is going to have to really think about what he has to do to try to manage this board some. Kind of crazy because he has 3 on the front line, and then also 3 in the back. So if you clear any bodies here, he's just going to play the Yuji for another 2 energy generation. I think he needs the energy to be able to do any plays here. Hopefully maybe has a domain expansion of some sort to progress his plays, but really has to push something in this game because he is feeling it for sure. He's just thinking about his plays here. You would think that if you had some Divergent Fists, you would want to play him. He's just dropping some bodies. Okay, dropping a 5-drop Sukuna, not worrying about the raid. Just trying to get a 4K out there to be able to block with. And then the domain expansion, there we go, letting him push his plays, getting the 2 action points back. Now he's got a lot of plays that he can try to do here. He's got plenty of energy. Definitely going to have to clear one of these bodies. If he doesn't, he's going to be in a tough spot. Even if you clear two, really. If you clear two bodies here and they got 3 and 3, you clear two, they move them all up. And you just saw from his second or turn third that he had just playing them down. He has a lot of 0 and 1 drops in this deck and can push the pace of the game really fast. Eddie tapping action point here. Thinking about this. This is the finals, and he sees the Yuji. Nice. Being able to bounce the Jogo back to hand. Interesting choice. Bouncing back the Jogo. Because he can play the little one again if he has it to reduce a body and clear it again. And yeah, the Sukuna player just dropping another 4K body vanilla essentially at this point and swinging with the Yuji. No reason to take this hit here. He has the bodies. He can really press 4 attacks next turn. But he is going to choose the block here. Maybe talking and thinking about if you want to take it back, but he doesn't. He blocks there. That's fine. 2, 4. He's at 6 life. I think maybe keeping the body on the field there is what you would want to do with that much life going on. Maybe hope for a trigger, and then being able to push for 4 attacks. He only has 3 blockers, but he may have needed that in the trash. This deck deals with needing cards in the trash and being able to play them back in certain ways. So he's moving up, playing a transfigured person, playing, tapping an action point here. That transfigured person, you can tap it and then send it to the sideline to give a character minus 1,000, I believe, until the end of the turn. Gonna idle transfiguration here. Targeting the Sukuna. I'm not sure why you can't. I think this is a misplay here. You can't play out a card unless you kill something. And he had no way to reduce the BP because the one that he played earlier had to come out tap. But that's okay. They missed that one. He's going to go on to the Mahito right here with his last action point. This one lets you add 1 back to your hand. He made the Yuji lose 1,000. He played it to the field here, so I think this is another misplay. Pretty sure. But he's swinging here. Just going to hit a Yuji, give him the 3,000, which lets him be able to block. That was a great check. But he is low now on life. He's going to have to try to clear this board. Great pressure from the Mahito player here, keeping these bodies on board. Let's see what the Sukuna player can do here. He has 4 energy generation going on. We can see he has a Sukuna in hand. He's just going to Divergent Fist the Mahito here, clearing it off the board. He's going to have to play some characters. I imagine he has to clear another body and play a character. So another domain expansion here. Perfect card. These cards are so good to see in the game, and he's just going to drop down 2 4s and swing at life here. Probably the best plays that he could do, not having ways to really try to replace his energy. So getting to draw a card here off of the Abomination in the life. He's swinging again. Probably trying to think about if he wants to block here or take the life. He's going to take a life again, yeah. And a Mahito. That's awesome for the Mahito player. Having the raid ready to go. If he has one that he can play in hand, he can really push a ways to clear the board here. Because he does have the 2 transfigured persons already set up on the board. Both of those you can tap them and send them to the sideline to reduce someone by 1,000. And then the Mahito hopefully helps you be able to clear them afterwards. Doesn't look like he has that play here. Probably one of the first ones that you would think of. I do think that this is this player's first time and first event playing this deck. This deck is pretty complicated to play. It's not as straightforward as a lot of other decks. You have to have resources on the field and in your sideline. But the recursion and board control that this deck can put off is super scary. And you see it here with both these players being 3-0 in the finals at our Rare Battle event. Moving up, playing an action point here, maybe some more energy. Hopefully to see a Geto here. So he plays a Mahito. Gives him the 4 energy he needs to probably raid on top of this Mahito. He's thinking about it, looking at his trash. So this deck takes a lot of knowing your plays and what you can do. It's not a straightforward deck, but it is a lot of fun. Really makes you use your brain. So he's going to go ahead and suspend the character to give it the minus. Maybe he's taking it back, realizing that he probably needs that energy first. Now tapping the character. Not tapping it yet, just from the Mahito effect, adding something back to hand. Made the character lose a 25 for the Mahito. Now he's doing another 1,000. And another 1,000 to clear off the Sukuna. Nice. Good plays to clear the board there. Swinging out. He can block through. Really good play from the Mahito player here. Getting to use these transfigured persons to minus 1,000 each. And then the Mahito with the minus 25 is minus 45 to clear that body. Putting him back in the driver's seat of this game. He is only at 2 energy. Oh, and there we go with the Sukuna tapping down the Mahito and able to search. Great play here for the Sukuna player. Hopefully he can find himself a finger, and he does find a finger. Sometimes playing this Sukuna deck, finding the fingers can be harder than you think. Sometimes they just find a way to stay away from you. Activating this finger here to draw a card, get the AP back. Did have to switch the Yuji to resting, but free cycle. He has the 4 energy generation. If he has another Yuji in hand, could definitely raid on the one that he just suspended. He doesn't have to worry about this Mahito though, because the Sukuna will keep it tapped for the turn. Maybe thinking about if he wants to use one of his Divergent Fist here. You could use the Divergent Fist if you think that the Mahito player has more 0 drops to drop out. Could go into another Mahito pretty easy just by dropping another 2-drop energy generator. And yes, he's going to Divergent Fist one of the small ones. It feels bad to have to do that to a small one, but he's lost so much pressure in the game already. Oh, another Mahito to the hand. That's perfect for the Mahito player. If he can get the energy, he will be able to control this board next turn. Think he's just thinking here if he wants to block to go down to 2. He may want to take this hit just to see if he can get a good trigger. Maybe a special trigger here, or just adding something in the hand that can help him get this energy generation. He is taking the block here. Not a bad call. You're at 2 life. If you can manage to play 2 characters and block out, and this deck can do it with the Dagon only cost of 1. And another Abomination played out. Setting up blockers. He's going to be able to play 1 more blocker to give him a chance, and he does. So he's going to survive another turn here. Got all the blockers he needs. Just going to have to hope for a decent trigger in his life. Now this does put the pressure on the Sukuna player, having to try to clear these bodies off so they can potentially try to swing for game. Thinking about ways to manage your resources against a Mahito deck is tough, knowing that they can reoccur some of these bodies back to the field and back to their hand. Um, so it makes they're sticky to the board, and it makes them being able to block kind of a nuisance because these bodies aren't anything crazy strong. And it looks like he's just really thinking about his play here. Like I said, this is the finals of our rare battle event. Only 4 rounds. We had the pair down lose their round. That's why we did not have the 5. He searches, finds a finger, throws it away, puts him at the fingers now. So maybe he has a shrine in hand. Can't really tell here, but if he has a shrine, now having those fingers in there will help him be able to put a lot of pressure on the board. He does have the shrine. We can see it a little better now. Definitely have to play that, but maybe just thinking about how much pressure he wants to send back to the Mahito player. I do think that you have to pressure the board here, clear some of these bodies off, and not try to risk it. Oh, and he's going with the 2-drop Yuji to clear off one of the bodies. He's going to swing out. The Mahito player can block these. Maybe he keeps one up. He does have 2 lives, so he can take this hit if he prefer, and he does. And a Hanami. Really unfortunate that Hanami did not have a get to hand trigger because I feel like he's just missing the 2 memory here, probably to try to pop into a Mahito or Ghetto play. The Ghetto costing 2 action points is hefty, but I don't think we've seen him play a domain expansion himself here, so maybe could be holding on to him. Something to think about in your games when it's late in the game. Sometimes players can hold out on multiple domain expansions and really try to give you a play that you may not have seen coming, which is a great way to try to surprise your opponent later in the game, holding on to those domain expansions. He must not have a ton of answers or things he can do in his hand. He's looking through his trash here. Sorry about the camera sliding across the table. We can see his board though. This is a tough board to look at though. Even if he had a full board of characters, trying to take out 2 Sukunas and 2 Yujis is hard for any deck to do, even with the resources. Just playing the fish and the transfigured person and abomination. Trying to get a swing in here. He will block with the Yuji, not wanting to take the life, trade the characters. He has plenty in the back to move up here. Drawing a card here. Not liking what he sees in his hand from that. He did have the board state, but just going to get a finger to draw another card, get the action point back. So he did get to cycle 2 cards here. Maybe trying to think about pushing for the game with those draws. And here goes the shrine. I think we have 3 fingers. He spread them out for us so we can see that. And yeah, he's given the Sukuna on the right the buff to be able to push through. It's 1 more action point. A Yuji here would be game if he could raid on top of that Yuji, unless the trigger has something else to say, but he just Divergent Fist here to clear one of the bodies, so he can block out here, not having to take the life, and that's what he does. You have to play these games out like this. Give yourself any chance you can. It looks grim, but the Mahito player is definitely trying to give himself a chance in this game. But the pressure of the Sukuna, having so many raid options, great skill spells, and amazing cycle. Probably the most notable thing about the deck is the amount that it can cycle through with all the draw and trashing, and sometimes free draws from the fingers. He's thinking about it here if he has any plays. and I think he just forfeits here. So Blue Sukuna taking the win for this rare battle event at the shop. It was a lot of fun. Really glad to see a lot of different decks. Walking around to the table, seeing everyone have fun. Really enjoying the JJK set. We're going to have some deck profiles here at the end of the video. And this is the Mahito deck. Really consistent throughout. A little unfortunate not seeing the top end in that last battle he had, but great performance. Going 3-1, getting second place in the rare battle event. Only noticeable thing I'm seeing now is the domain expansions only being at 3. Uh, I think domain expansions, any of these cards that give you the action points back, are super important at 4 ofs. And then here is the list for the Sukuna player. Really strong list, pretty consistent. Only 3 of the Yujis, but everyone's splits are different. That's it. I appreciate y'all hanging. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share the video. Really working hard on getting these video and all this content out for everyone. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time.